So, yeah, no. Anyway, well, it was just phone call, it would be my ear opportunity. But I'm just sitting. No, no, you're outside. Right, good afternoon. Welcome to the March 20th post-informal hearing. We're going to do a quick roll call, and from there we will begin moving through the agenda. Jacob Hensley. Jacob Hensley. Anthony Musto.
Yes, sir.
You here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Michael Lee. Michael Lee. Christopher Curry, you said he was running late, correct? Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen. Lowell Boyd.
Here, sir.
Thank you. Brian Gilly.
Sir, Mr. Gilly is reset till next month, according to his attorney and our legal staff advised.
Okay, that's going to be continued to next month. Dedrick Collier.
He also just contacted us about an hour and a half ago saying he's not going to be here today.
Not present. Michael Payne. Michael Payne. Ruben Basalda.
Here, sir.
Thank you, sir. Marvel Boyce. Marvel Boyce. Cody Buck.
Here, sir.
Thank you, sir. Raheem Muhammad. Raheem Muhammad. The matter of Cedric Miles, I think legal is going to update us on that. Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo. We also have the matter of Harvey Briggs that needs to be added to the agenda today that the Tennessee Department of Safety and legal can also brief us on that matter as well. Is there anybody present whose name we did not call? All right, we'll start with the officers that are present first and give the opportunity for those that have not been declared present to give them an opportunity to appear. We'll start with Anthony Musto in Blount County. We'll have the agency come to the podium first and explain to the commission why they've submitted a request for decertification, and we'll go that way. If you would just identify yourself for the record, please.
Captain Josh Blair, Blount County Sheriff's Office.
Thank you, sir. Go ahead.
We're here today just pursuant to the post rule with Mr. Musto. His case is still pending and he resigned on his own. And this is just a fulfillment of the post rule, essentially.
Anthony Musto.
Yeah.
Director, could you explain to the commission what it is that he has pending?
Domestic assault. Yeah. Mr. Musto was involved in a domestic assault situation at his home back in 24, and it's still pending. That case is still pending, my understanding. And once again, this is not a decertification that we sought out as an agency. It was just to follow the rule of post.
This is Commissioner Green. Was he terminated from Blount County Sheriff's Office?
He resigned, sir.
Pending termination?
I don't think so.
No.
No, he resigned on his own. We had him serving in a non-law enforcement capacity in corrections, and he resigned on his own problems.
in a case he's listed as resigned in lieu of termination, is how he was submitted to us. So a resignation in lieu of termination would qualify him for decertification, according to the post rules.
There are pending criminal charges.
Yes, sir. He can probably elaborate more on that than I.
I guess to dispose of this kind of quickly, Mr. Musto,
Yes, sir.
would you agree to a suspension of your post certificate while the your criminal case is pending, and then you would come back before the commission after that case is disposed of?
Yes, sir.
You would.
Kevin, if you can get with him, thanks.
I'd make a motion to suspend post certificate while criminal proceedings are pending.
All right, we have a motion and a second for an agreed order of suspension while criminal charges are pending. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, Director.
In lieu of Mr. Hensley not being here, do you need me anymore? Mr. Bella?
You just want to hang out, and we'll call a second roll after we deal with the guys that are present, and if he's not here, then we'll make a vote and close that out. Thank you, sir. In the matter of Michael Lee, is there a representative of Bradley County here?
Present, sir.
All right, thank you, sir. If you just come to the podium and identify yourself for the record, please.
Captain David Shoemaker with Bradley County Sheriff's Office.
All right, sir. And could you just explain to the commission the reason for the request of decertification?
Certainly. On July 16th, 2024, an internal affairs investigation was conducted by the Sheriff's Office in reference to a traffic stop term pursuit initiated by Michael Lee. This incident occurred on July 9th. Deputy Lee had stated that while he had the vehicle stopped and was conversing with the driver, that the driver proceeded to drive off and drug him with the vehicle, causing him bodily injury. Namely, his words were, "I was scraped up a bit." He proceeded to pursue the vehicle for a couple of miles before the pursuit ended and the driver was taken into custody. On the scene, Deputy Lee also told his supervisor that he had been drugged by the vehicle. Pardon me, Collins got me. And also told EMS workers who had came to the scene to assess injuries. He was transported to the hospital, not so much for his injuries, but because he had had a previous neck surgery and they were just concerned that it may have aggravated that. At the hospital, Deputy Lee filled out workman's comp forms and first reported injury forms, stating that he received his injuries from being drugged by the vehicle. During the investigation, the body cam and dashboard cameras of his vehicle and his body showed that no dragging of his person was done. He never lost balance, never came in contact with the car or the ground in any way, shape, or form. Any injuries he had sustained happened while extricating the driver from the vehicle where they broke the glass. He got some cuts on his knees from kneeling down in the broken glass and had a small scratch to his nose from a piece of the glass flying off. All this is documented on his body cam. Based on that, we found him in violation of our truthfulness policy and also for falsification of official documents. The case was submitted to our district attorney's office, and District Attorney Stephen Hatchett stated that in a letter to our sheriff that Michael Lee cannot be called as a witness by my office in any prosecution due to his complete lack of credibility. The case was turned over to the patrol captain and a decision was made to terminate. So.
Thank you. Questions by the commission?
Mr. Lee's not here, not present either, correct? I hated this, not present. We actually have a letter from him's attorney himself. And based upon that, I'm gonna make a default motion for decertification based on what normal policy.
And we have a motion
Commissioner Wilbur, second.
and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Move along in the matter of Lowell Floyd, we have Representative Henry County.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. If you would just approach the podium and identify yourself for the record, please.
Sheriff Josh Fry.
Thank you, Sheriff. If you could just explain to the commissioners why we're here today.
So we're here today on a recommendation for decertification of Lowell Boyd. This stems from an incident December of 24. December the 16th of 24, I received information that Lowell Boyd had went home early from his shift after being told by a sergeant not to do so. That they were short shift, he was not to leave work early. We received information that he did leave approximately an hour early, park his patrol car approximately a mile down the road, get in his personal vehicle, and then go to a party at his girlfriend's house while in uniform. Once there, in the drinking uniform, we have 3 witnesses there that says that. One of those being his girlfriend that admits that he was there drinking while in uniform. Talking with Deputy Boyd at the time, he admits to everything but the drinking, so everything was corroborated, but the fact that he was consuming alcohol wrong.
Thank you, sir. Any questions about the commission?
Commissioner Wilbur, there's something in here about an incident with scissors. Do you know anything about that?
Yes, ma'am. So 2 of the people there, the other 2 witnesses were correctional officers from an adjoining county. They advised that they were threatened with a pair of scissors while by Mr. Boyd while at the scene. But yet they did not want to pursue those charges, so we just let that ride due to the termination.
All right. Thanks, Sheriff.
So
Mr. Boyd,
Sir.
thank you. You would just identify yourself for the record, please.
Yes, sir. Jack Bird, attorney for Mr. Boyd here representing him this afternoon. The incident that the sheriff is referring to, Mr. Boyd has not denied his actions in that other than the incident which was referred to with the scissors. Anything that would have happened like that would not have been while he was on duty. He denies that anything happened of that nature. His girlfriend also denies that. The time frame that we're talking about is approximately 30 minutes. The common practice at this department is you're 10-8, you wait, and this is in the morning shift, by the way, the early morning shift. If you're 10-8, you get close to home. When you hear the day shift come on, call there 10-8, you call out 10-7. Mr. Boyd had parked his cruiser at one location where his mother lives and went to where his girlfriend's house was. There was a party going on there. He admits that he had a couple of sips of beer. He has now admitted that he was having some personal issues and other things going on. As a young officer, he had 2 years as a patrol officer. Excuse me. At approximately 13 years with the sheriff's department with no disciplinary actions at all. We are of the belief that this is a disciplinary type issue, not worthy of withdrawing his post commission. He's been terminated from the sheriff's department, and he will have to answer the questions about that termination if he can get anybody that will hire him at this point. We feel that it's more of a disciplinary action within the sheriff's department than truly a post issue for honesty or anything of that nature. He has been totally honest and forthcoming with information. He has quit drinking since this incident and is trying to get himself together so he can be another productive citizen of Tennessee and hopefully get back into law enforcement somewhere. But as I've said, he will have to answer those questions to any department that wants to hire him. And truthfully, because it's there, we're asking that the subcommittee recommend no action on his decertification to the commission.
Commissioner Wilbur, Mr. Byrd, this report says that Officer Boyd denied drinking on duty. But now he's admitting he drank on duty.
He is admitting to drink on duty. My information, I don't have that report that you're referring to, Commissioner, nor do I have the recordings of any interviews. So I don't have the benefit of that. What he has relayed to me is that he admitted that he drank on duty, but that his interpretation was he had resigned his cruiser, put it somewhere, and he was just basically waiting to get on. It was a mistake. He admits that. He knows the error he made at this point. He and I have had in-depth discussions about, well, what would you have done if a call had come out and you had to respond to in those type conversations. He understands the seriousness of what he did. And he wishes to remain in law enforcement if he can do that. He has taken actions to try and correct those acts that he did and make himself productive where he can get back into law enforcement if someone's willing to hire him.
Ms. Commissioner Wilbur again, what actions has he taken to correct his behavior?
He has gotten a counseling. He has also quit drinking. And he admits to me that he might have a beer every once in a while, but what he did have at the time was bordering on an alcohol problem. And he has taken that and tried to correct that action. He was having some problems with his ex-wife that he had caught in an affair with someone that they knew and was having some personal issues that were dogging him pretty hard. And he understands how to get help and get assistance when he needs it now.
Commissioner Beverly, I guess, relay to me how many zones, Mr. Boyd, did y'all work on a normal shift? How many shipmates did you have?
4 normally, sir.
Only 4?
Yes, sir.
And you parked your car, your patrol car, and then drove your personal vehicle to a second location, correct?
Yes, sir.
What time did you leave that night?
What time did I leave my mother's house?
What time did you turn your patrol car off?
Approximately 3:44, maybe.
What time did you put on your time sheet at your shift ending?
And I can't recall what time I went 10-7.
What time were you scheduled to go to 7?
It's supposed to be 4:30, but we always clock out like 4:15. Everybody, as soon as day shift comes on, that's whenever we go off shift. And everybody does like 15 minutes early.
And you did consume alcohol that night?
Yes, sir. It was about 2 minutes before I got off shift.
What were you wearing at the time?
I had on my uniform, sir. I hadn't got done changing because of the party they're referring to that I was at. I actually lived there with my girlfriend.
Where was your weapon at the time?
My weapon was probably on the side. I'd have to say, yes, it was on my side. Thank you, sir.
Any other questions?
No questions for me, just for purposes of deliberation between us, I guess. I tend to kind of go with Mr. Bird on this one, that I think it is more departmental. He raised some pretty good questions about the monuments, my truth, and the city did count its time. But I still feel like it's probably just more departmental issues versus actual decertification. That's my opinion. I will say he made some very bad mistakes.
Commissioner Wilbur, just for deliberation purposes, it says in this report that he denied drinking on duty, and honesty is very important. And I'm not sure he's been honest with his attorney about whether he was drinking that night or not either. That's also concerning. But I hear what you're saying about his department.
I guess
Commissioner Beverly, and what can you tell us about your interaction that night with the subject name Dougie?
Sorry,
What can you tell us about your interaction that night with the subject name Dougie? Batty?
whenever we got there, introduced myself. Like I said, soon to be my girlfriend's workmates. That's why we had them come over. We might have been get together, so like we can introduce each other. Like it's, and I mean, we had a good time. We sat there and talked for probably, I don't know, 2-3 hours, had a good time. No problem whatsoever. We ended up calling another guy that works at the sheriff's office that we know, because he also knew him as well. And just calling everybody because we knew he was getting ready to go on a date, just to see how he was doing and everything. Whenever the night ended, I mean, we all shook hands, had a good old time, told him y'all come on back anytime. And it was fine. Everything went perfect.
Were there any disagreements between you two?
No, sir, not at all.
Never an instance where you threatened to kill him?
No, sir.
Picked up scissors?
No, sir.
Any idea why he would say that?
Other than I found out later on that he had feelings for my girlfriend and he was trying to get that, so.
This is Commissioner Green. Did the sergeant tell you could not take off early and you did it anyway?
So I asked my sergeant if I could take my earlies. He just said, no, I'm taking my earlies. That was it. That's the only thing we discussed.
Commissioner Wilbur, but you did it anyway.
I did take off a little early, yes, ma'am.
And I'm just looking at this, at the very bottom of this report. Your girlfriend at the time was 19 and drinking.
Yes, ma'am.
And is it a crime to be underage and drink?
Yes, ma'am. And we actually talked about that as well.
It's-
I ain't even quite sure where she got the alcohol from, other than, I guess, the Benton County people, I guess, bought her alcohol that night.
Is it true you stated it was legal for minors to drink alcohol as long as they are in their home?
Well, I thought it was at the time. I wasn't entirely sure on that. And I've gotten corrected on it.
You didn't learn that at academy?
But I learned a lot here. Is this some stuff, it just takes a little while for me to grasp a hold of. Learn.
Thank you.
A few questions for the sheriff. Ask him. A few questions for the sheriff. Did you actually present during this stuff that's in this report that we're looking at?
No, sir. That would have been my investigation team, handled all the interviews.
Okay, but he did. It says in here that he was explained Garrity and acknowledged it, understood it, signed it, and dated it.
That's correct. I have a copy of that with me, sir.
Commissioner Wright, I'm gonna make a motion to move this to the full commission.
Commissioner Wilbur, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion?
Just one moment.
Motion, no further discussion. All in favor? So move this to a full hearing in front of the full commission. Say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion passes. Kevin will get you guys and kind of explain what the next steps are. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Underage.
All right, we'll move forward again to the Tennessee Department of Safety in the matter of Ruben Basalda. We have a representative of the Department of Safety.
Sure. Director, if we go ahead and establish, I'm gonna abstain on this if you want to establish who the alternate would be.
Commissioner Green, did you want to step in?
Okay.
Or Commissioner Beverly? Okay. So we'll have Commissioner Green, Philbrook, and Wright voting as the primary for this matter. Good afternoon, sir. Please identify yourself for us.
Yes, my name is Sergeant Justin Roll.
Thank you, sir. And can you just go ahead and explain why we're here today?
I missed just the beginning of, is this for Basadula?
Yes, sir.
Okay. The facts kind of regarding this case was that Basadula was arrested for domestic assault by the Cookville Police Department. The victim and himself were in a sexual relationship at some point during their time together. The incident occurred outside the victim's house, her residence, which was recorded on her Ring video camera. The video will show that the victim was holding a bag which contained a vodka bottle inside of it, which Basadula was trying to take from her. During their incident, the victim dropped to her knees, kind of clutching the bottle close to her chest. Basadula was kind of reaching around her, over her, while trying to grab the bottle from her. Basadula picked up the victim a couple inches off the ground and pushed her to the concrete twice. If you watch the video, it would hear the victim's knees hit twice on the concrete. The case was ultimately sent to the grand jury where Trooper Basadula was indicted, received a true bill for domestic assault. Later, Basadula pled to a simple assault, placed on supervised probation for 11/29.
Any questions about the commission?
Commissioner Wilbur started, when does his probation end? If you know.
Yeah, if you give me just a second.
Sure, thank you.
December 11th, 25.
Any further questions for the agency? Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Basadula, come forward, please. Can we just identify yourself for the record and then give the commissioners your side?
Ruben Basalda. So, I mean, I did plead guilty to simple assault, taking a class, 3-hour domestic violence class. Even my lawyer believes I could probably get my probation down to 6 months, which would be in May. I know I made a mistake. I've never been disciplined before, almost 10 years working with the Tennessee Highway Patrol. And it's asked that I could keep my post.
Any questions about the commission?
Commissioner Green, was it simple assault or domestic assault?
I played a simple assault, sir.
Were you charged with domestic
Yes,
assault?
yes, sir, I was.
And you got how much time? Did you get jail time or just probation?
Well, I guess, sir, I did have to go to jail for 12 hours.
And how long have you been with the Highway Patrol when this happened?
9 years and some 9 years, almost close to 10 years, sir.
That's all for right now.
Any other questions? Any discussion?
Commissioner Green again. You were drinking during this incident. What's your drinking behavior now?
I'm not drinking anymore, sir. I can't drink anyways on probation as well, which I'm not doing at all either. I realized I did make a mistake under influence. But what happened again?
Are you still in a relationship with this lady?
No, sir, I've not had any contact with her since May of the incident, the day of the incident last year.
Commissioner Wilbur, did she get a restraining order?
No, ma'am, she did not.
Commissioner Wright, was your entire law enforcement career with the Tennessee Department of Safety?
Yes, sir, it was.
Were there any other incidents of disciplinary action inside your tenure with the Tennessee Highway Patrol?
No, sir.
And you're not denying any of the facts that Sergeant Rowe spoke of and gave us?
No, sir.
This is Commissioner Green again. What are your plans if you are able to continue your certification?
Try to find another police department, maybe even move out of state to another police department as well, too, sir.
Did you have any other disciplinary action prior to this incident with Highway Patrol?
No, sir.
Commissioner Wilbur, do you understand under Giglio that defense counsel, in any case you are prosecuting, helping the DA's office prosecute, if you're doing an assault case, they're gonna know that you have pled guilty to assault. Are you aware that that will come up every time you testify in court?
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware.
Do you think that might be a problem?
It could be, ma'am.
I appreciate your honesty.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or discussion? I'll remind the commission that you've got several options, whether it be place the officer on some kind of probation period, a suspension, decertification, or taking no action and dismissing the motion altogether.
Just for discussion, I would tell you, just looking at these pictures, that's pretty bad bruising on the lady's legs. The assault. He's a pretty big boy. It wasn't a casual push down on the ground.
Yeah, Commissioner Wright, I mean, it's just unfortunate that his one disciplinary action was a very serious disciplinary action. And because of the seriousness of it, I'm gonna make a motion. Please, certify.
Commissioner Green, I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion, vote aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none opposed, the motion passes. All right, we'll continue with the Department of Safety in the manner of Cody Buck. We'll have the sergeant come up. If you just introduce yourself again, and we'll go over the matter of Cody Buck.
Yes, I'll be back. Thank you.
Sergeant Justin Roll, Tennessee Highway Patrol. As part of you guys probably already know, the Highway Patrol, one of their main jobs functions is to conduct commercial vehicle inspections. Every trooper, when they graduate dead school, have to go back after their MTO and go through a 40-hour training cycle to get certified to conduct commercial vehicle inspections. Trooper Buck was given the test 3 times with a 40-hour class, take the test at the end. Was given 3 opportunities to take the class and failed the minimum standard. Was unable to pass the course, and he was ultimately terminated due to not being able to perform his job duties as a trooper.
Any questions for the department?
None from the department, but I'll go ahead and kind of move forward with this. I was actually a part of the Highway Patrol when they merged with commercial motor vehicle, and that was not, I did not like it at all. But I did what I was supposed to do, but I don't think it's any reason to be certified. So I want to deny the motion, make a motion to deny the motion.
Commissioner Beverly, second.
I agree with you. There's plenty of other opportunities in law enforcement that may not involve commercial vehicles that this trooper might be more than capable of supporting.
Yes, sir. And if I understand the record correct, I believe that Officer Buck is now working for the city of Allgood at this time. So we have a representative from Allgood PD here. Yes, sir. So we've got his new agency here. If the commission would like to speak to the so. We have a motion and a second. Any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion to disapprove carries. Tennessee Department of Safety in the matter of Raheem Muhammad. I believe Mr. Muhammad is here now, correct? Thank you, sir. If we could have the agency, you would just identify yourself, please, and explain to the commission why we're seeking certification from Ms. Muhammad.
Trooper Drew Heath. Few incidents with Mr. Muhammad. The first incident, Mr. Muhammad was scheduled to work a day shift, 6 to 2, and he had contacted his supervisor that morning, advising him that he could not come into work due to his blood sugar spike. Mr. Muhammad, at which time his supervisor acknowledged that, okay. Mr. Muhammad later that day went to work a secondary employment job at the Renaissance Center, where a lieutenant was also working the secondary, and he told him that, you know, you can't work secondary if you fly out sick. So he then went back to his residence. During the interview, Trooper Muhammad admitted that he was untruthful to his supervision regarding being sick. He had worked a late shift the night before, and he was just tired. And that's why he called. That's ultimately why he called out sick that day. Second incident with Mr. Muhammad, he had his patrol vehicle at Memphis headquarters in Memphis. An administrative sergeant had seen damage to the front of his patrol vehicle and inquired to Mr. Muhammad how the damage got there. Mr. Muhammad told his supervision that whenever he was issued that patrol vehicle from the Fleet Department in Nashville, the damage was already there. Axon video footage revealed that a couple of days after that Mr. Muhammad received that vehicle from Fleet, the damage was not there. So that's when the investigation ensued. Through the investigation, the interview, Mr. Muhammad was untruthful to investigators, saying that the vehicle damage was there when he was assigned from Fleet. Whenever we inquired on did he tell someone at Fleet that it was there, he assumed that they knew the damage was there. Once the evidence was shown to Mr. Muhammad that the patrol vehicle that he was driving from his Axon body camera showed that there was no damage in the front end of that vehicle, he then admitted that he was untruthful to his supervisors as well as us. His reasoning of being untruthful to his supervisor was he wanted to get him off of his back, and he did not have an excuse why he was untruthful to the investigator during the interview process. The last incident for Mr. Muhammad, he was working a sobriety checkpoint in Memphis, and he had arrested an individual for driving under the influence. He transported the subject to the Memphis jail and realized that Memphis PD was doing an operation or something of that sort that night. So with that going on, the Sally Port of the jail was extremely busy. And Mr. Muhammad elected at that point in time, he did not feel like waiting. So he released the subject that he had in custody beside the jail, and he cited him in lieu of arrest, even though he was already in custody at that point in time. But his actions, it's ultimately why he was terminated based off of those 3 cases.
Mr. Wilbert, did he admit to the actions of the sobriety checkpoint and leaving that person outside the jail?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. He did admit that he did leave them on the sidewalk.
And what is your department's policy on a damaged vehicle? What happens to an officer when he accidentally runs over a?
You notify your supervisor immediately, and I'm glad you brought that up. He failed to notify his supervisor whenever he was questioned or asked about that. Did you call anybody? He did admit that he remembers going to a call of injury correct on I-40 in Memphis. And that's when he knew that it happened, but he did, and trying to say he did not report it to a supervisor or anything of that nature.
And he initially lied?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Any other questions for the agency? Thank you, sir. You'll just have a seat. Mr. Muhammad. You'll just step forward and identify yourself for the record, please, sir, and then just explain to the commissioners your side.
My name is Raheem Muhammad. It's all true. I was just never really been put in a situation like that before, and I was nervous, mainly scared, and I just didn't know what to do.
Which incident are you talking about?
Well, for the arrest on the outside of the Sally Porter. I remember the guy's name. His name was Sam. His last name was Sampson. He was a retired MPD captain. It was late that night. I know the Sally Porter was going to be full, and I was like, hey, you know what? I'm just cite you in the court. And then I did leave him on the side of the road. It wasn't until later, until Trooper Heath revealed to me what his BAC was at the time that I did release him. And that's when I realized I messed up with that situation. During that time, he was pretty comprehensive. He was talking back and forth, and I figured he might have been good. With the crash, it wasn't really until later that I really noticed it. And at that time, when I did notice it, I was like, yeah, it's been a while before I was even like, you know what, I'm just gonna report this. And I figured I'd probably just be able to get away with it. And beforehand, I do have type 2 diabetes. And it was just the night before that shift, I was just really tired. It was like the 7 weeks in between the shift changes where you go from working night shift to day shift. I got off at 11 that night, didn't get home to 12 because I lived an hour outside of Memphis, and then had to be up at 4 the next morning. I was just really tired.
But yet you went to work later that afternoon.
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Mr. Muhammad, did you have any other prior law enforcement experience before?
No, sir.
Highway patrol?
No, sir, I didn't.
And when did you start with the highway patrol?
May 28th, 2023.
Very short period of time. Well, these are all some pretty serious instances, especially as you probably heard, commission takes truthfulness extremely. We put a lot of merit against truthfulness because if law enforcement can't be truthful, then that's who we are. That's why the public would trust us. And I don't even know what to say about the leaving the guy on the side of the road after being arrested. But Commissioner Wright, I'm gonna have to make a motion to decertify.
Commissioner Beverly, second. I share with you, you felt it was enough to put him into this, to start the judicial system process. You had enough probation, one, to protect the public from him getting back on the roadway. You also had an obligation to keep him safe, because that goes into public intoxication of their threat to themselves or others. He was put into danger. You didn't do your job that day to protect people.
This is Commissioner Green. I just want to let you know, the reason we take honesty why it's so important to us, if you will rely on these small little things like a traffic accident or I'm sick and I can't go go to work so I can go work an extra job. If you lie about something like that, then what happens when it's a real serious allegation? So you may think it's just a small lie here, but if you're doing it for that, where the consequences are very minor, then what's going to happen when it's a serious allegation? That's why we take it so seriously.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. All right, Mr. Muhammad, our investigator, will get with you and kind of explain to you your next steps.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. I believe we've had one more show up. Let's do another quick roll call to see if anybody else has wandered in late. Jacob Hensley. Jacob Hensley. Christopher Curry. Here. Mr. Curry's here. Jonathan Allen. Jonathan Allen. Cedric Collier. Cedric Collier. Michael Payne. Michael Payne. Marvell Boyce. Marvell Boyce.
Director Fellow, regarding Mr. Boyce, looking on here, he was similar and terminated for not passing the commercial vehicles exam. I'd like to make a motion to take no action on that item.
We have a motion.
Mr. Wilmer, second.
We have a second. Any discussion or any questions of the agency since they're here?
Commissioner Wright, I'd like to make sure that in outline that we don't know about.
Would the agency like to come forward and speak on Marvell Boyce?
Sergeant Roll, is it similar to the one?
Yes, exact same thing.
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
So-
thank you.
So we have a motion, we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion for no action passes. Anthony Rizzo. Anthony Rizzo. All right. We'll circle back to the matter of Christopher Curry, since Mr. Curry is here. We'll have our post investigator come and kind of report. This was something that came up before the commission regarding a memorandum of understanding and shaking your head at me.
I don't know about all the agencies, but are they free to go? The not present.
Yeah, do we want to just make a motion on the ones that aren't here?
Commissioner Wright, I'll make a motion, a default motion on the ones that are not present, but we read in the names of the ones that will be default.
I can. So we want to make a motion of default for the ones that are not present. Those would be Jacob Hensley, Blount County. Jonathan Allen, Hamilton County. Cedric Collier, Memphis PD. Michael Payne, Memphis PD. And Anthony Rizzo, University of Tennessee, Knoxville PD.
You say Alan, I'm sorry.
I did.
Okay, I apologize.
Commissioner Wright, my motion is for these certifications on the names just listed. Interrupt.
Mr. Wilmer, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Default order for the names that were listed. So if we call your agency and your officer was not here, they've made a motion for default decertification and you are free to go. We will circle back to the matter of Christopher Curry. This came up before the commission last month. Mr. Curry had a memorandum of understanding and some issues that were discovered during an audit by our investigators. Our investigators here to kind of just give us a summary of that. The commission last month voted to move that to an informal hearing, which is why we're here. So we just want to give us a brief synopsis of what you found, and we'll go from there.
Investigator Kentrell with the Post Commission. So Mr. Curry came on the radar when there was a complaint filed against the Dyersburg State Community College PD. During an audit that was done as a result of that complaint, it was found that Mr. Curry at the time had been terminated from 3 out of 6 agencies just since June of 23. All of them were due to either criminal conduct or department violations or a combination of the two. He's had 2 arrests that I'm aware of that are still on his record in less than a year. Both were for domestic violence. He just recently had the last one from January of 24 was pending in court. It's my understanding that the DA made some sort of deal with him and to not prosecute him for it. But he's got multiple reports that I've received from Dyersburg PD where he was listed as some sort of a party in different incidents. I believe there was about 10 or 12 different reports that were sent to me. He has since been terminated from Dyersburg State for the criminal conduct for being arrested. And according to Cadis, as of right now, he's not working in law enforcement.
Thank you. Does the commission have any questions?
Not for this investigator. I guess there's another incident that Investigator Creed might be able to regarding a phone call.
Yeah, if you'd like to hear from Investigator Creed, we can have him come up as well. You would just identify yourself for the record, please.
Post Investigator Kevin Creed. The email that should be on your iPad is a email from the Covington Chief of Police describing a phone call one of her staff members had a strange conversation where I believe her firearms instructor or her GDI called who that individual thought was going to be the Chief of Police of Gates PD to set up some kind of firearms or something like that. And the individual identified themselves as that person that was called the chief. I was later determined that the number that was called was actually Mr. Curry's number, and not it was a mistaken caller ID. They inputted the wrong information into their phone of the listing, and the person who answered the phone pretended to be the person that they weren't. So if you look at that email, it describes it further and more in detail. This is just coming off of memory. I haven't looked at the email in over a month and a half, but you guys have that information in front of you more than I do. And I believe they terminated him also from Covington Police Department at the time, and I believe that's in the email also.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Okay. Mr. Curry, if you could come to the podium, please, and identify yourself for the record, please.
Christopher Curry.
All right, thank you. And if you would just explain your side, please.
This memorandum of understanding, the only reason I signed this memorandum is advice from my counsel. At the time, he stated that there was two options. First option was placing a Class C felony, which he advised me any domestic now got to serve at 100%, or sign this agreement that charges will be dismissed in the sponge. And I think anybody in their right mind would have signed this memorandum of understanding, which, like I said, I took that advice from my counsel. Signed this memorandum of understanding.
Thank you. Any questions from the commission?
Commissioner Beverly, just based on your statement you just made, I want to confirm. Part of this says that your signature, you agree to the accuracy of the factual scenario of this case that is listed below, indicated by your signature, and will admit to that accuracy under oath. That being said, there is a factual scenario that is listed in that and that agreed. Is that the truth?
This scenario,
The factual scenario is the order.
that's not true.
That's not true at all.
No, sir.
So your signature lied by signing that agreement?
I advised my counsel at the time that I will be signing a false report if I sign this memorandum of understanding. And he kept harping on me that that's the best route to take at that time. He said the trial will be set off another year. I will have to wait another year with this charge over my head and go without a job. And I can't afford to go without a job. I got two kids to figure like this.
What's the current status of the charges against you? They're
They've
pending.
been dismissed and expunged, but I had a copy. So the certified copy of it.
And we've received a copy of the expungement paperwork that's in his file. That's correct.
It was dismissed with prejudice or without prejudice, so they could re-indict if he failed to follow the memorandum of understanding.
That's correct.
He just denied doing. Commissioner Beverly, again, are you aware of the phone call that Investigator Creed referenced?
I think I was in there when he was stating that. I never received a call from a GI or firearm instructor. Like he stated, I've been in law enforcement maybe a year and a half now.
Have you ever identified yourself, I guess, as Chief Titus on a phone call?
I don't sound nothing like Chief Ty. That's something I would never impersonate a police officer. No, sir.
So I would more of a direct yes or no.
No, sir.
Commissioner Beverly, just based on the memorandum of understanding that he signed and the seriousness of the charges, along with the repetitive nature, I'm going to make a motion to decertify. Commissioner Wright, second.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, Mr. Curry, the motion is passed. If you'll just step outside with our investigator, he'll explain to you your next steps, okay? Thank you, sir. All right, we'll go to the, was there anybody on the agenda that we did not call that came in late? And you are, sir?
Marbury Boys.
Marble Boys. Okay, the commission has already voted on that matter and decided to take no action, dismissed it. So you're all set. That's done and over with. All right.
You're still certified.
Say it again.
You're still certified.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir.
He's lost pretty quick.
If I get out of here before they change their mind. All right, we do have two matters left on the agenda, the matter of Cedric Miles and Harvey Briggs. I'll let legal kind of weigh in and explain to us the matter of Cedric Miles first. It may or may not work.
Ashley Ball with legal counsel for Mr. Miles. He was not certified. So, for requesting administrative closure of the decertification hearing. No certification. He's certified.
And I believe we had a similar matter come before us in November when we were in Gatlinburg, a Metro National PD officer that had been submitted for decertification, but had never completed the academy, never received a certification. And the commission at that time decided to close that file as well. This is just a similar instance that we have found.
This is from Mr. Cedric Miles.
Yes, sir. No, he was terminated from the agency and he does not work in law enforcement at this time.
Commissioner Wright, make a motion to close the file and take no action.
We have a motion
Commissioner Wilbur, second.
and a second. Any further discussion?
He was never, just to make sure I understand, he was never certified?
Correct. To our record, he never completed the academy and would never received a certification from the post. I think he got close. I think maybe he was an FTO when the gas can incident happened. Does that sound right?
It very well maybe. I know he was definitely on probation.
Yeah. But he was in his third week of FTO, so.
Okay.
So
If he had made it to the FTO program, he had received his certificate, had he not?
How to get a card?
well, I don't know how the training staff was doing it back then. I think they weren't fully graduating until until their FTO before they were actually fully commissioned. I could be wrong about that. They were doing it that way.
That is my understanding as well, Sergeant, is that they had rolled some of the FTO program into part of the academy program. So it was very likely that he was still doing some FTO, but it was still under the regulation of the academy and not had been actually graduated and completed the academy yet when this incident occurred.
So you're still showing him as uncertified?
That's correct. Yeah, until we receive a certificate of completion from an agency, we don't consider them as graduated and completed, and we don't issue a post certification, and which he never did receive in this case.
I'm sorry, I wasn't a trooper. I just thought they got cards on graduation day and.
Wasn't that way in '02?
Yeah, and it's also a little concerning if he was driving a marked trooper vehicle and around, but it wasn't certified, so forgive me, that's why I needed the clarification.
Yeah, it's
Duly noted.
Commissioner, we're gonna take a motion, clear this one up. We voted on it, yeah?
So we have a motion and a second, and then we had some discussion. Any other discussion? All in favor of the motion? Any opposed? That will be closed. The matter of Mr. Miles. Right, and in the matter of Mr. Harvey Briggs, he was submitted for decertification. That arose out of an assault that occurred during COVID. I believe he had yanked the mask off of a protester. He did plead no contendere to that assault in September of 2022. He came for an informal, was initially issued a default. He retained an attorney. He appealed the default decertification, and he was pending a full hearing of that appeal. It is my understanding, and legal can correct me, and I'm kind of just rolling with it, that he has since gone missing. A report was filed by the Columbia Police Department. He was last seen in Florida, and that was approximately 2 to 3 years ago. So it's my understanding legal has discussed the matter with the Department of Safety legal, and everybody's comfortable with closing the file since he cannot be found, which is.
Is he decertified? If you gave him a default, he appealed it, and we've not had a hearing on it, so he's still defaulted.
Right, he's appealed his default decertification, so correct.
So what's,
And the issue is, if we can't find him, we can't have a formal hearing, because I can't get notice to it. We'll use the term service process like it would be under, Rule 4 of the Tennessee Rules of Procedure. This is, UAPA stuff, but, our investigators aren't gonna go outside the state lines using Florida. I mean, if we were lucky enough to find an address, we've done a clear report. It's still coming back. I think it's with the Tennessee address. So that's of news. As an administrative closure, if he were to pop back up, since there was no findings of fact taken, conclusions of law made, that we could be reopened administratively. The closure, we get administratively closed any of our cases. It's just that typically we find people who have no hearings.
is that your suggestion to make it easier, I guess, in case this ever comes back up? What's your suggestion if this happens past all of our terms?
My suggestion for today would be to approve the administrative.
Commissioner Wright, would it be better to put them, if we made a motion, put them in a suspended status? Just kind of an indefinite suspension?
Does that fall your part?
Well, it's going to do that one way or the other, yeah. But I don't know that we've actually carried anybody in a case in it. I mean, they're not truly suspended. The only way they get suspended would be they come for the informal, we suspend them, or you all suspend them, or they get decertified, they don't appeal it. So since he appealed it, really it wouldn't matter if you put the label suspended status. That would just be another way of saying he's sitting there still certified, but we're just calling it something different,
Okay, but I thought it was decertified. What is the actual status?
He's still certified.
Well, right, he appeared before the informal subcommittee, received a default, hired an attorney, and appealed the default decertification. So he would be sitting in this.
He's still sitting certified. That would be my.
That's true.
Yeah.
Commissioner Wright, then he did hire an attorney. We don't have any contact with that attorney either.
I don't know that anybody's. That's one path we haven't gone down. Do we know who it was?
We'd have to check. Yeah, we'd have to probably check his records.
I guess my question would be is if he has an attorney and we reach out to them and saying we're setting a formal hearing and he fails to show then, could we not go ahead and move forward with the?
We still have to serve him or have the attorney accept service.
Well, that's what I'm saying is
Right.
notify the attorney that here's his formal hearing date.
Right. But I probably wouldn't even set it for anything until I talked to the attorney and said, are you representing this guy still?
We can always do some homework and.
That's another option too. I mean, he's been there a while, and I doubt that it's going to change much, We're gonna sit there a little while longer for us to explore that.
I'm kind of just thinking, let's go ahead and administratively close it. Just close this one up. That's just me. Is there a motion on the floor for
There's just been some discussion, and I kind of agree with counsel that, even if we were to administratively close it, or to magically reappear sometime 2 or 3 years down the road, all the records are there, and it would be, hey, wait a minute, this is kind of where we left off. We would need to administratively reopen it and kind of restart. So he would still be kind of in that same limbo. It would just be an administrative move for us to kind of move it from an active file that's kind of pending against us. That's something that we're trying to actively work on to, we can close it, move it to the done pile and move on to something else.
We also have sort of the backstop in the rules that if he's gone beyond 3 years of active law enforcement, he would have to at least attend transition school. Now, we haven't gotten to the 7 years yet where you have to go back to an academy, but we would really put the brakes on anything.
But he could be working in Florida now and never come back to Tennessee. I just think for somebody to jump states and go to work. We have no option.
Commissioner Wright, what was the date on this? When was this case?
I can find it for you here in a second.
I knew it. Oh, really? Yeah.
Director Bello, may I speak?
Sure.
Post investigator Creed, once someone's listed as a missing person, they go into NCIC. And any law enforcement agency in a background process would run that individual for the fingerprints or any information on that individual. It would pop that that person has a warrant out of Tennessee for a missing person. So if we think he's working in another state in the United States, that's not an option really. Because his fingerprints and his name would pop in NCIC as a missing person, and then they would contact the original agency here in Tennessee. Do you still want this person? Is he okay? Do a welfare check on him. And then Columbia Police Department, is that wherever the location is of him being missing out of, would get contact that he is safe or deceased, whatever the situation is with that individual. But he's in NCIC still as a missing person, according to, I believe, the last check they had. So for him working in a law enforcement agency, it wouldn't be that wouldn't be a crack that he gets left through.
Commissioner Beverly, I'm gonna make a motion that we administratively close this case.
Commissioner Wilbur, second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Matter passes. That would conclude our business for today. Motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn, Commissioner Wright.
And second by Commissioner Beverly. And we are adjourned.